This is good. I'm gonna show y'all. Rome pushed the same Christianity that was Spain, the same place. Same thing happened during Paul's time. During Paul's time, they gained steam after the apostles are gone.
Even while he lived.
So it says the results of Paul's teachings. All right? Watch this.
Even while he lived.
Read from the top. Read from the top.
Sir. The results of Paul's teaching. It is not what happened to Paul personally that is important, but rather what happened to Paul's teaching.
So what's important is not what happened to Paul, but more so what happened to Paul's teachings. Because Christianity focuses on whose teachings? Paul. Galatians, Colossians, Corinthians, Romans, right? Watch this.
Even while he lived, ample evidence proves that the people to whom he preached had misunderstood him.
So Paul had problems with his disciples, with the disciples. The church is as simple as hell. He would curse them out, Corinthians. They had a hard time understanding him when he taught them, like some of y'all in here do. That's why we say to y'all in class, if you get it, you get it. If you don't, you don't. Go ahead.
He had spoken in terms of high and noble idealism of charity.
He spoke to them in terms of high and noble idealism. Go ahead.
Of charity.
Love your neighbor as yourself.
Of personal righteousness.
Of personal righteousness. Keeping the commandments. Watch this.
He urged men to believe in Jesus firmly and believing in so perfect an example of godly living.
And believing in so perfect an example of godly living. That's keeping the commandments. Watch this.
Begin to lead a godly life themselves.
Must apply the commandments. Watch.
Such righteous people could have no difficulty in meeting the awful day of God's judgment.
So if you're doing that, you're good. When Christ returns, you're good. That's what Paul was saying. Keep the commandments, have faith in Christ firmly, you're good in the day of judgment. Watch this.
They would surely survive it.
You survive it. Watch this.
And when the day of resurrection came,
when it came time to be resurrected, go ahead. Such people
would surely be permitted to live again and forever.
The dead will rise first, right? Watch this.
But most of the people who listened to Paul remembered only the connection between believing in Jesus and meriting God's mercy.
Stop. So see what happened? Yeah. Over time, they say, okay, well, we believe in Christ, and he's merciful, grace. Watch this.
And ultimate resurrection. They skipped the middle step.
Watch this.
The need to live godly lives.
They left that out. Christianity leaves that out. Believe in Christ, mercy. But leave out keeping the commandments. Live godly lives. So it happened with Paul's time. Paul said, you guys are retarded. Keep the commandments, have faith in Christ. They were like, believe in Christ, he's merciful. No. Believe in Christ, keep the commandments, he's merciful. No. Believe in Christ, he's merciful. They would leave that out. Watch this.
Thus, faith in Jesus came to be the only and entire basis of the religion.
Adopted by who?
Adopted by the pagan Christians.
Pagan Christians. That's that Roman Catholicism. Watch this.
While the Judeo-Christians.
Stop. That's who the Spaniards were kicking out of Spain. Judeo-Christians. The Christians that were keeping Judaism, which requires what? Keeping the commandments. So you have pagan Christians and you have Judeo-Christians, which came from the disciples in them. Go ahead.
Who lived in Palestine, continued to observe
Jewish law. That's what Paul was pushing. But what do they say today? No. It's done away with. Mercy. Watch this. It gets better. Watch.
But it was the pagan Christian attitude which won in the end.
It was the pagan Christian attitude which won in the end. And it's in this end now. It wins now. Go ahead.
Many pagans who had admired Judaism either openly or secretly now had a chance to adopt a form of Judaism which appealed to them.
Which appealed to them, meaning you believe in Christ and his mercy, but them commandments, we ain't doing that. Go ahead.
It is not at all strange that Christianity spread most easily and rapidly in those cities in which Jews had lived for a long time, so that people were already acquainted with their life and religious ideas.
So it wasn't a surprise that Christianity spread, because you had two forms spreading. You had the Judeo one spreading, you had the pagan one spreading. So spreading it wasn't hard. Go ahead.
Nevertheless, for some centuries still,
go ahead.
It was not at all certain whether Judaism or Christianity would make the greater number of converts.
Right. So the point is that Rome spread pagan Christianity. And that pagan Christianity focused more so on Christ and mercy. no applying laws. So that's the same Christianity that Spain adopted. Because remember, that's Rome. Showed you earlier how it says the Romans expelled the Jews out of Spain. So it's the same Christianity. Just Jesus Christ, faith, no laws, and this mercy. That's it. It's the same thing.
And make sure you remember they got rid of the black Christ.
Right.
They got the European Christ. Give me the next page of the same book.